Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Amherst. I'm Reverend Michelle Buheit, the minister of this congregation. We are so glad you have chosen to join us in worship. As we gather, we acknowledge that our church is built on occupied land that once belonged to the First Nations people of this region, the Haudenosaunee. We begin our worship together by lighting the flaming chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, that embodies the light of reason and the search for truth and meaning, the warmth of friendship and community, and the fire of our commitment to bring more justice and compassion to a hurting world. If you have a chalice or a simple candle at home, please prepare to light it as we light our shared chalice. We meet on holy ground, for that place is holy where we meet each other, where lives touch, where love moves, where hope stirs. How strong is our need for one another, our silent beckoning to our neighbors, our invitations to share life and death together, our welcome into the lives of those we meet and their welcome into our own. We kindle our chalice, a bowl of light, reflecting that eternal light which shines always around and before us. We call one another to worship with these words by Unitarian Universalist minister, the Reverend Maureen Killeran. Blessed is this ground on which we stand. Holy is this place. Holy are the places of memory, the places which have formed us, where we store the icons of success and shattered dreams, and gather threads and pieces of what we would become. Holy are the places of memory. Holy are the places of the dream, the places over the rainbow, where all children are wanted and all people are fed, where colors are the source of celebration, and youth and age come to the table as one. Holy are the places of the dream. Holy are the places of change and pain, the places of our struggle, where the rivers of our lives run white and fast, and we hold on and grow. Holy are the places of change and pain. Holy are the places of connection, the places where we risk ourselves, where hands, touch souls, touch minds, and in awareness still we change our lives. Holy are the places of connection. Holy are the places of becoming, the places of clear vision, where life and world are intertwined and we can see forever in this moment and give thanks. Holy are the places of becoming. Blessed is the ground on which we stand. Holy and whole making is this place. Today we explore what it means to be a people who are becoming, people who are living in the holiness of the present moment, reconciled with our past, and anticipating the promise of the future. Part of becoming is making room for transformation and learning what it means to belong. We will be leaning into some of the teachings of shame and vulnerability researcher Dr. Brené Brown, as we weave together a tapestry of resilience and belonging. Also part of our tapestry today is the commemoration of Yom Hashoah, the Holocaust Day of Remembrance, which was celebrated by our Jewish friends beginning on the evening of April 7th and ending on the evening of April 8th. Holocaust Remembrance Day coincides with the date of the beginning of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising in Poland in 1943, when Jewish resistance fighters defied the Nazis and fought for freedom and dignity. The music throughout our service will lift up peace, freedom, and the joy of living in the Jewish community and beyond, as we all pay homage to the more than 6 million people who perished at the hands of the Nazis, and as we honor the strength and resilience of those who survived. May we never forget. Our opening music is a piece written by Moshe Ben Ari and arranged by our friend Unitarian Universalist singer-songwriter Hal Walker. The song, Salam, is also known as Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, and is familiar to us as one we have sung together in that long ago time when we worshipped in the same room and sang with abandon. At the heart of this song of peace is the reality that the words, sung in both Hebrew and Arabic, are nearly identical. There is not so much that separates these communities and much that connects them. The English translation widens the circle of inclusion to bring us into this hopeful prayer for people, for all people.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Salam, Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Salam, Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Still peace will come upon us. Still peace will come upon us. Still peace will come upon us, everyone. Still peace will come upon us. Still peace will come upon us. Still peace will come upon us, everyone. Peace will come upon the whole wide world. Yeah, peace will come. Peace will come upon the whole wide world. Yeah, peace will come. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam.
And so we honor the Holocaust Day of Remembrance, Yom Hashoah. In Hebrew, Shoah means catastrophe, utter destruction, a heart-wrenching word to describe the experience of those who suffered through the Holocaust, a word that in Greek means sacrifice by fire. Over 6 million people, Jews, homosexuals, people who helped others escape, truly, anyone who did not toe the white party line of Nazism, were exterminated over the course of slightly over a decade. Just 400 years earlier, historians estimate that almost 9 million women and other vulnerable people were burned, pressed, or hanged during the Inquisition. What is it about humanity that creates the space for these atrocities to happen? Shall I recount for you the number of people who have died at the hands of gunmen, and so far, they have mostly been men, who have massacred Jews, blacks, gays, Asians, children, and other vulnerable populations? Each time I think, surely this is the limit of our apathy. This time we will stop the madness. And each time the rhetoric outweighs human worth and dignity, and our hearts are numbed again by the intractable and the unsolvable. I feel the cuts in my own soul, deep and penetrating. What will it take? I've always had an issue with Passover, where the chosen celebrate being spared the loss of their firstborn by the blood of the lamb smeared across the threshold to their homes. This is not an anti-Semitic statement. This is a fully human cry that no one should be sacrificed. No one should bear the agony of losing their child. What kind of God demands this madness? I don't know how to turn the story around to make it less awful. Maybe for 21st century readers, it is less about being the chosen ones than it is a caution against othering, of engaging in religious schadenfreude, taking pleasure in another's suffering. In this time of remembering the horrors of the Holocaust, we bear witness to what happens when we create an other of a segment of humanity. We lose our own humanity. In remembering, we not only honor the suffering of millions of people, we also renew our commitment to make sure these atrocities never happen again.
They stood in fear, where could they go? They stood so brave, what did they know? On this day heroes pray, each prayer meant for you. Yom Hashoah through. How could it be the world was blind? Was no one there to make a stand? On this day, heroes pray, our prayers call out to you. Yom Hashoah yigateinu. On this day, heroes pray, our prayers call out to you. Yom Hashoah yigateinu. Never again, never again, hear our voice unite. Never again, never again, knowing wrong from right. Years have passed, we still behold the spirit left inspires us all. On this day, heroes pray, raise the world to you. Yom Hashoah yigateinu. On this day, heroes raise his million prayers to you. Yom Hashoah yigateinu. On this day, heroes raise his million prayers to you. Yom Hashoah yigateinu.
Blessed is this ground on which we stand. Holy is this place. Holy are the places of memory, the places which have formed us, where we store the icons of success and shattered dreams, and gather threads and pieces of what we would become. Holy are the places of memory. Holy are the places of the dream, the places over the rainbow, where all children are wanted and all people are fed, where colors are the source of celebration and youth and age come to the table as one. Holy are the places of the dream. Holy are the places of change and pain, the places of our struggle, where the rivers of our lives run white and fast, and we hold on and grow. Holy are the places of change and pain. Holy are the places of memory. Holy are the places of dream. Holy are the places of change and pain. We recognize the holiness of these experiences of success and shattered dreams, of optimism and struggle, as they contribute to our formation, our becoming. We are always in formation, always becoming. Hopefully, we are becoming more of what we value, more compassionate, more courageous, living more wholeheartedly. The whole point of being human is to continue to grow and change. I can say that with some authority because of a little thing called evolution. Everything, every life form adapts and changes, finding new pathways to growth. I prefer to have some input in the direction of my growth, rather than letting random circumstances cast me about like a rowboat in a tempest. The good news is that there are helpful folks who study human behavior, and they can help us to undertake this becoming with intention. One of these helpful folks is shame and vulnerability researcher Dr. Brené Brown. It's been about 5 years since we spent some time with her research on the effects of shame, and she has been busy expanding and personalizing her research on living more wholeheartedly. Lately, I have been listening to her recent book, Rising Strong, where she shares her research and personal experience in rising strong into the fullness of who we were meant to be. I will admit, I have always been drawn to self-help books, and I have repeatedly been disappointed with the 1, 2, 3, presto approach to self-improvement. What I appreciate about Dr. Brown's approach is that every element is based on research and lived experience. As I considered the topic of becoming, I knew I wanted to introduce you to the Rising Strong method. So what is the Rising Strong process, and how do we do it? Perhaps more importantly, why should we do it? Because we are always becoming, always evolving, and we long to be in healthy, meaningful relationship with ourselves and with one another. As we embrace the principles and practices of Rising Strong, we grow our capacity for compassionate, wholehearted living. Let's begin with some foundational agreements. Human beings are natural storytellers. Martin Buber described humans as the meaning-making animal. We attach meaning to everything. If there is insufficient evidence, no problem. Our brains are endlessly creative and will make up a meaning. Being natural storytellers has been crucial to our survival. We are able to sum up at a glance who is good, who is bad, and what is dangerous. What our storytelling brains don't take into consideration is the value of discomfort and vulnerability in relationships. Learning to lean into discomfort is the path to rising strong into the fullness of who we were meant to be. Our storytelling brains don't care much about the accuracy of the story, just that there is some way to make meaning of what is happening. For example, suppose we are back in worship together in our building, and as I'm preaching, I happen to lock eyes with you, and you roll your eyes. I might still be preaching from my script, but my brain is working overtime. What just happened? They rolled their eyes at me. They not only hate what I'm preaching, but they think I'm ridiculous. My brain took a small piece of information, the movement of eyes, and created a whole big story. Now I'm hooked. I'm locked in emotion. I'll probably avoid you and then go home and feel bad, and now I'll have two things to feel bad about. All the reasons I made up for why you rolled your eyes, and my lack of courage to talk to you directly about it. Now there's a rift between us, and you don't even know why. We can't always stop the storytelling and the attendant emotion, but we can stop the rest of the unraveling of relationship by being courageous and curious. Brown calls this the reckoning, when we recognize that we have been triggered and we get curious about what it is. As a preacher, I appreciate alliteration. It's a helpful tool for remembering important points. The rising strong process is made up of 3 R's: the reckoning, the rumble, and the revolution. The reckoning is like taking a slow, deep breath. It's noticing the emotion and stopping ourselves before we try to offload that pain by engaging in one of the many handy pain-suppressing practices like overeating, drinking, internet shopping, binge-watching TV, or taking it out on someone or something less powerful than we are. That pan of brownies is not going to solve anything, and it will inevitably make us feel worse. The rumble is where we do something constructive about the discomfort, rather than suppressing it. In the rumble, we try to get to the truth of the emotion. What do I really know? What am I making up? In our example of the eye roll, all I know is that your eyes moved. I don't know why. Brown calls this the rumble because getting to the truth is hard. It means fact-checking and asking questions. She says that it's useful to frame this as, the story I'm telling myself is, I'm going to venture to say that I'm not the only people pleaser in the crowd. Most of us like to be appreciated, and we experience anxiety if we think we are not valued. You'll notice that in the eye roll episode, my internal dialogue immediately went to, they hate what I'm preaching and they think I'm ridiculous. That's my automatic response, and it feeds the fear of never being enough. I can be candid about this because I think we all have these go-tos. Yours might be different than mine, but the root is fear of not being enough. As Brown says, the most dangerous stories we tell ourselves are the ones we make up about our lovability, our divinity, and our creativity. Now that I've pushed pause to rumble with myself about the cause of my emotional triggering, I can move to the revolution, where we turn things upside down by taking responsibility for our emotions and not projecting onto others. In the revolution, I subvert the shame story by asking questions. In the eye-rolling drama, I would make a point to approach you. I might say something like, as I was preaching, there was a moment when our eyes locked, and it looked like you rolled your eyes at me. The story I'm making up in my head is that you had a problem with what I was saying, or maybe with me. Can we talk about it? I will tell you that it takes courage to be that vulnerable. There's always the chance that the response will be, yeah, I hate when you do and say that thing. But it is more likely that the response will be, oh, I didn't mean that. I just have a hard time with unexpected eye contact, and I automatically look away. Whatever the answer, that moment of vulnerability and courage likely saved the relationship, as well as avoiding the destruction of a pan of brownies to numb my anxiety. We make the revolution truly revolutionary by making this rising strong process of reckoning, rumbling, and revolution an ongoing practice, a spiritual practice. Let me remind you how Dr. Brown defines spirituality. Spirituality is recognizing and celebrating that we are all inextricably connected to each other by a power greater than all of us, and that our connection to that power and to one another is grounded in love and compassion. Practicing spirituality brings a sense of perspective, meaning, and purpose to our lives. The Rising Strong process is a spiritual practice because it is based in connection, love, and belonging. We recognize that we are not alone, and we take responsibility for our lives. Leaning into our discomfort and being willing to be vulnerable is the way home, the way to creating beloved community together. With compassion and courage, Rising Strong can lead us into the fullness of who we were meant to be.
This is the ancient Persian story of the Simurgh, originally told in the 12th century by Fariduddin Attar and retold by Jorge Luis Borges in the Book of Imaginary Things. The Simurgh is a benevolent, mythical, flying creature, an immortal bird that nests in the branches of the tree of knowledge, far away in a distant land. One day, the other birds learn that the Simurgh has dropped one of his splendid feathers. These birds have been living in anarchy and they are tired of it, tired of chaos, struggle, and confusion. They know there must be a better way, and they need the wisdom and guidance of a great leader. So, they decide to venture off to find the Simurgh. They know that this journey will be long and difficult, since the great benevolent bird's castle lies way out in a distant mountain range that forms a ring around the earth. But it's got to be worth the journey to find deliverance from the chaos that surrounds them. A better world must be possible. So this group of birds heads off to see the Simurgh, and right away many of the birds lose heart. The nightingale bails. He can't bear to be apart from his beloved rose. The parrot wants to go right back into the cage in which he's lived his whole life. The partridge cannot do without the comfort of her home in the hills. The heron can't stand being away from the marsh, nor the owl away from his ruins. But finally, certain of them set out on the perilous venture. They cross 7 valleys, 7 seas, each one with an alarming name. The next to last sea was named Bewilderment, and the last one, Annihilation. Many of the original pilgrims desert. The journey takes a deep toll on the rest of the travelers. They are exhausted, depleted, and at the end of this arduous journey, only 30 birds are left. These birds were frightened and tired, but they kept moving together, and they finally reached the great peak that the great Simurgh bird is said to live upon. And the birds land. They prepare to behold their king, to receive their answers, to rest into the end of chaos. But there on that mountain peak, there is no great mythical bird. It's just them on that peak, just 30 birds. And this is because they are the Simurgh. Because it turns out that the word Simurgh means 30 birds. And the Simurgh is each of them and all of them together.
Holy are the places of connection, the places where we risk ourselves, where hands, touch souls, touch minds, and in awareness still we change our lives. Holy are the places of connection. Holy are the places of becoming, the places of clear vision, where life and world are intertwined, and we can see forever in this moment and give thanks. Holy are the places of becoming. Blessed is the ground on which we stand. Holy and whole making is this place. Holy are the places of becoming. Holy are the places of connection, of pain and change, of dreams and of memory. The word holy is related to the word whole. Our efforts to live wholeheartedly, to be open and vulnerable, compassionate and courageous, are holy. Being a people who are becoming, who are living and interacting mindfully, is holy work. In the story of the Simurgh, 30 birds, just a fraction of the original flock that left seeking the transcendent, 30 birds, frightened and tired, kept moving together. And when they arrived at the holy mountain, battered and exhausted, only to discover that there was no transcendent being, they did not fling themselves to the rocks in despair. They looked at one another and recognized the Simurgh in each of them and all of them. Their strength and perseverance changed them in fundamental ways. Willing to risk their lives in search of truth, they found the larger life that embraced them. We began our worship together honoring those who suffered at the hands of evil in the Holocaust. We end our worship honoring their spirit and the tenacity of those who survived, not to dash themselves upon the rocks of despair, but to embrace life in its fullness. Close this time of worship as we extinguish our chalice with these familiar words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Reverend Frederick E. Gillis provides this benediction to bless the time we have shared together. May the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in us and among us, now and always. Thank you for joining us in worship today. Please see the credits at the end of this service for information about the music and other worship elements. And do take a moment to visit our website, uuamherst.org, and click on the giving link, or text your gift to 833-987-1968. Your generosity in online giving is the virtual equivalent of passing the offering plate. Thank you in advance for your generosity.